Good morning, Astrolifers. So, the stars of 2020. I actually have so much to say. As I was doing my notes yesterday and the day before, I just realized that I've got a lot to say. So I might split it in two actually, because as you know, I use different supports. So I use Chinese astrology, I use the elements, I use the numerology, I use the stars, I use a lot of other supports. I'm also psychic. I mix and match actually all of that because one was never enough for me, and definitely never enough in precision. And then also there's another aspect of it, is that once you do it all, you understand that everything is logical, that everything flows, that everything is connected. It's a little bit like being in a matrix. It's actually very, very logical. So you will always see me blending all those supports, and that's the way I also do my readings. I mix and match a lot of different things, but it's always linked with frequencies, energies and frequencies. So that's the way I do things. Good morning, Kayleen. Hi. So let's start. Let's start talking about 2020. And first, Happy New Year, obviously, to everyone. And yes, I will split it in two. So the second part, more Western astrology. I will talk about it tomorrow morning, same time, same place. And I will explain a little bit more about the month of January, what's happening, what's going on. And also giving you really, as far as the Western is concerned, the effects that we are going to have with the planets. I'm still going to talk about it a little bit today, especially about the eclipses and things like that. So you are ready for them because they will be important. And we do have quite a few aspects coming up that are going to be quite strong. So I want to talk about it, especially two solar eclipses that are going to be massive and helping us out to change and to evolve and to step up. Okay, so let's talk about the rat of metal. So first, metal, for the ones who have had a reading with me or who have come to my workshops or retreats, you know the elements, you know how they work, and the metal is very sharp. The metal obviously was going to be coming out of the earth, the way it's logical with the cycles, but it's a very sharp way of thinking. It's direct. In fact, really, if we think about it, the rat equals Aries, and there's a bit of an airy energy, moving forward, being sharp, being fast. So who is the rat? Who is the rat of metal? Well, first you need to know that he arrived first. There's a reason for that. So we are starting a new cycle. He actually used the strength of the ox and then jumped first from his back to arrive on the other side of the river. So very, very quick thinking. So that year is going to be very fast in the way of thinking. So it's all about good taste. It's all about the finer things in life. People are going to enjoy partying. They're going to love entertainment. It's going to be excellent for that, for all the meetups, events that you want to create. People are going to want to do that. Rats are never by themselves. Even in nature, you see them, they're always in groups. They love gathering. They love their families. They love their friends. But they also love meeting new people. So that's going to be going towards that. They also like their home. They like even their home to entertain. So it's all about, finer things, enjoying really nice and fine food. So there's going to be a lot of that. So the people that are in the food industry or in the entertaining industry, I can already tell you, you are going to be very successful. And everyone else, obviously, that is in the business, wanting to organize social events, that's going to be awesome. The rat, even though if he's very faithful to his friends, he also likes mixing up with other groups, very curious. So there's going to be a lot of exchanges as far as ideas are concerned. Positivity, it's going to be a very positive year because it's all about moving forwards. It's going to be very straightforward and very positive, even though sometimes the rat can a little bit worry, and that frequency you will see it in the finances. People are going to want to make a lot of money and keep their money, and that is going to be confirmed with the 4. I told you before, everything is logical. They all flow, all those supports flow, and that is why we will talk about it in the 4, because 2022 and 2 equals 4. So yes, it's all about keeping the money. So that reassures the rats. The rat adores having, supplies, so when you go into the little caves, they've got all these supplies of food and things they keep, the cheese and everything. It's a little bit like that. It's all about keeping the money, filling up the bank accounts. So otherwise the rat is worried. So I can already tell you that anything to do with finances, bitcoins, new way of doing banking and growing, money and things like that is going to grow big. I already know that, and I already talked to you guys about it, especially with things behind like Jupiter in Capricorn and also Saturn, new ways of doing things. So that's going to come up. Friendships that are going to be created this year are going to be faithful and trying to be done on what is real. For 2 reasons. First, because of the right aspect, like as I was saying, but even in 4 as well, people are going to be looking for stability. They're going to be looking for things that are real. So loyal, real, faithful, that's going to be the vibe of the year. Very intelligent. The red didn't come first for nothing. Okay, so thinking outside the box, knowing, details, but knowing how they click together and how to organize things and be very precise. That's going to be very much in the tone. Hardworking, as I was saying, quick thinking, very observing as well. Very good for the medias, very good for writing. That's of course why I started to change the way I'm working myself. I do astrology, so obviously that helps me. Doing things like that. Very perfectionist, very entrepreneur. That's something that you need to know about the entrepreneur side. So obviously that's why I started to do the elites. You cannot start doing business in a better environment than doing it with the number 4, which is the platform. I'm starting security and very much linked with businesses. I will say it like that. So so the best time to start to do that. And yes, definitely on the side of being perfectionist, being creative with their business. It's linked with wealth and money, as I was saying. The rat needs to fill in the money. It's very, very important. So it's also linked with luxury, having nice things, as I was saying at the beginning, nice food, fine tasting, dining, luxury products. It's very good. Last year, it was more about, sharing and healing. It was more about that. It was more about imagination and I would say more about communication, because it was on the free energy, which is all about the knowledge, the self, the knowledge, and sharing it with others. Now this year is really about making it happen, starting it. So it's honest, it's straightforward, even in the way they communicate. So be ready to have people saying it the way it is. It's an honest energy, not only with the red that is upfront, that is going to tell you what he thinks and thinks what he says. So that is good. That's why also the friendships that are going to be created will be real and also, very straightforward. So the hogs, the monkeys, the dragons, the tiger, the snakes, the roosters, the dogs, the pigs, all that is fine. It's a little bit less fine for the people who are rabbits or cats, or goats. You had more you share, I would say, when we were in the peak, and actually I should say when we are in the peak. So actually very important that, because we're only shifting as far as the rat is concerned on the 25th so of January. Yes, just making sure of that. So what I've just been talking about, not the 4 energy, we're already in 2020. Even though the animal starts showing his paws quite early, it's actually usually starts showing the new trends and the new way where we are going around November, December. So we already started, but it's going to be very official and very, very kicking it on the 25th of January. So, so you still have time. That's why I was explaining that the rabbits and the goats, you still have time to plant the seeds, because for the moment, really technically, we are still in the peak of Earth. So plant. you have beautiful aspects with the stars that we do have for the moment. They're awesome as far as that is concerned. So please plant and create your business, your page, your projects. You want to name them now, and then in that case you will be protected with the right coming up, the right energy, because you will have created or given birth to something that is that is still pig of earth, which is your best friend, as far as the rabbits, cats, or goats are concerned. I say rabbits and cats because the Chinese say rabbit and the Vietnamese say cat. Me, I see people more as cats. They come and go and stay, like a cat would do. So yes, so very, very important for you guys that you do that. For the rest, as I was saying, and the oxes, who are the best friend of the reds, the monkeys, the dragons, you are going to be having one of the best year, because after all, it is your time, and that's what is good with astrology is everyone gets a turn. And yes, the tigers, snakes, dogs, rooster, pigs are going to be fine as well. And the others is well. It's a little bit less, but it's more the rabbits and the goats that needs to be careful. Okay, so what is with that 4? So the 4 energy is hardworking. Very, very good time to set up a business, to start on that. As I was saying, that's why I started my elites. I knew it was time to step it up and to do those businesses. And so I've stopped the reading. So I'm going to be, except the last ones, I've got 1 week where I'm finishing the ones I didn't have time to do, or if people were sick or if it was cancelled. So I'm finishing down that week, and then after that I will just focus on big events, retreats, and definitely looking after my elites for the next couple of years. That's where I'm going. So hardworking, persistent, productive. It's a little bit, imagine the 4 like a platform, like a little bit like a garden, a bank account, a garden, something where you are going to be watering, where you are going to want the money to grow, the business to grow, the platform to be done. It's very much into that frequency. So it's going to be bank accounts, responsibilities. Yes, last year, it was more, 2019 was more about, as I was saying, creativity, communication in that sense, exchanging ideas, healing, speaking, expressing. With the pig of earth, it was all about healing energies and finishing a cycle and lifting up whatever was still useful or not. Now it's really about consciousness, consistency, responsibility, being more organized, more aligned. So it's going to be very, very good for solid foundation. So you can imagine that. Plus, obviously, as I was saying, Jupiter in Capricorn and Saturn in Capricorn. So whatever is created here, we're speaking long term. So when I started to speak about long term, see legacy, see until the end of your life, that's pretty much what we are talking. Because when you create on a platform, and those 4 walls, and when you create stability, plus the Capricorn side, and plus the longevity, obviously that is going to give you everything that you need. So it's persistent, hardworking, details as well, things done loyal. If you look, my friends that do the cards, the tarot cards, if you look, it's linked with the Emperor. The 4th card is linked with the Emperor. All that makes sense when you start understanding the energies. So yeah, it's all about the sun and the solidity, the self, building yourself, stabilizing yourself. It's also linked with the Cancer star sign. So it's all about planting, security, and organizing the platforms. So that is very, very important. It is the first root number as well, so something to know. It's all about grounding when you start looking at the numbers. So of course, the people that have a frequency, there are 2 groups in numerology. There's the 1, the 3, the 5, the 6, the 9 that belongs to one group. Excuse me, I'm just going to shut the window. It's just going to be a little bit of sound because my gardener is here. Just 1 minute. Sorry about that, guys. So, yes. So it's going to be more aligned with the people that have the frequency, that have the number 2, 4, 7, 8, and 11. They will feel more comfortable with that frequency. how can I explain that frequency with numerology is that one group is more an air group, the 1, the 3, the 5, the 6, the 9 are more airy groups, more linked on communication and exchanges, and the others, the 2, the 4, the 7, the 8, and 11 are more down to the ground. Again, so very, very linked with grounding and very, very linked with creating things that are stable. It is like a platform, so very generous, maybe a little bit less freedom than the other group would prefer, but you know what, there's a turn for everyone and everything, and that's what we were talking about just before. There's a turn. The universe is fair because it gives everyone a turn. So let's talk just a little bit about Western astrology, and tomorrow I will give you the monthly updates and explain more about Western astrology. Otherwise, it's a little bit too long. And even my VA say, look, your videos are too long. We can't share them on every platforms, and which is not fair for everyone, because obviously those videos are free. So I want to help as many people and show that astrology works to many people. That's my purpose after all. So this year, full moon, there's going to be 13 of them, 2 super moon, 1 blue. And there's going to be fun effect. There's going to be 2 of them in October, 2 full moons in October. We're going to have 6 eclipses. The first one is on the 10th. It's going to be 10th, 11th, depending on where you are into the world. And it's going to be a lunar eclipse. Obviously, I will talk about it tomorrow and explain what it means and what's happening with it. We're going to have another one on the 5th and 6th of June, also a lunar eclipse. One that is extremely important is going to be on the 21st of June. It's going to be an annular solar eclipse. So solar eclipse is linked with the self. It's always a time when there are changes. It multiplies things. So it's quite strong, the changes that we do have at that time. Then we've got one on the 4th of the 5th of July. It's a lunar eclipse again. Then we've got one on the 29th and 30th of November, again a lunar eclipse. And then we're going to have the final one, which is going to be on the 14th of December, which is going to be a total eclipse, on the 14th of a solar total eclipse. So it's going to be, again, a very, very good time to change, and that will get us ready for the ox coming up. So the ox is going to be massive. There won't be any Mars or Venus retrograde during that year. So I can tell you that 2021 is also going to be awesome for business. So how do I see 2020? 2020 is the first step to that platform that is going to take us after to 2021 as far as the economy is concerned. So I can already tell you that the economy is going to wake up, is going to start to grow. People are going to want to make a lot of money, but it's also going to be fun. It's going to be all about entertainment, meetups, meetings, exchanging, talking as well, and very curious in the air. So it's very, very positive year. So that's it. So that's what I'm going to say for today. Tomorrow you'll have all the rest as far as Western astrology is concerned, but it's an awesome year coming up, very, very productive, very, very active. So rest if you want still for the moment during the holidays, but make sure that by the 20th of January you are really, really ready to go, because I will still do it now as much as you can, because the stars are excellent. With slowdowns with the first retrograde around the 5th of February. So you want to have finished and done everything before that, because after that we'll be going towards Mercury retrograde. So make sure that you are doing it now, but definitely with the right energy, it's going to be on the 25th of January. That being said, by the way, I do organize the Chinese, we are going to celebrate it, not on the 25th because I will be coming back from Nouméa, but on the 29th I'm organizing a dinner, so you can join us. And yes, I will give heaps of tips, and I will give heaps of ways of making the most of that year, because there are ways obviously of multiplying the luck and the money and the way of doing it. I give also a lot of good luck presents and things like that. So it's always awesome, and we're doing it in a place where the food is absolutely amazing. And yes, so I will talk about that a little bit more. I will actually create the event, but please have a look tomorrow. Tomorrow I will talk about the Western sides of astrology, and I will explain a lot more about the Western star sign and telling you what it's all about. Thank you for listening. Bye everyone. Bye.